morning, vlogsters. I know it's not my morning, it's nighttime, and guess what? I went out with my family and I ate my dinner, and then we made a shake. So I'm gonna have my shake with you. This is going to be shake time with Jeri-Ann. For those of you who don't know, I drink a kind of keto friendly-ish. Like, I know there's all different kinds of keto plans, but it's basically like 3 servings, a little less than 3 servings of keto-friendly ice cream, depending on which kind you use. 2 servings go in the shake with heavy cream and possibly sugar-free syrup. It depends on which flavor I'm using. And by sugar-free syrup, I mean like coffee syrups. They have like French vanilla, and that's really nice. And then 1 scoop is the float, and we wait till it melts a little bit. And if you see here, it's hard to tell, but this is actually the chocolate float covered in the vanilla ice cream shake. My favorite part. It reminds me of my mom. She used to go to Carvel and get, I called you because, can you shut that off?
Shut what off?
The Dyson. I couldn't reach.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I didn't realize you called me.
It'll get quieter here in a second, folks. Actually, what I was calling you for was, since you have to still render your video.
That's what's happening right now.
Wait, is it going up to the internet or is it coming down to your phone?
It's coming down to my phone.
They can do that anywhere.
iMovies is...
My suggestion was going to be, why don't you come in here, fold, and we can watch a movie and I'll vlog later. You can watch a movie while you're doing your video, and...
When iMovie's done, because I can leave my phone out there.
You can also upload it from in here. It's got good Wi-Fi. Remember, upload speeds are different. I do mine in no time. It's up to you. Just a suggestion. Okay, love you. We just had a really good dinner, so I thought it'd be nice to have like a little date, a little movie date. That was Jim. Anyway, so Jim puts it in that little USB plus electricity powered, like Hamilton Beach smoothie blender that I got. It was like $20, $19.99 or something from Walmart. And I got that thinking that I was going to make them here in my bed by myself. Like add the fruit to the protein drinks, like the Premier protein shakes, just to thicken them up and make them have a little bit more texture and some more nutrition. But turns out they're great for making these. Tonight's dinner was very keto friendly, but not very mouth friendly. So normally I don't have a shake 2 days in a row, but I had one yesterday, and I said, that's all I can think about right now is just getting some ice cream for my mouth. And he's like, do you want a shake? And I was like, I would love a shake. I don't normally ask you to do it 2 days in a row. But I guess since it's the 4th of July, we can celebrate. So, somebody asked me in the comments earlier about my bankruptcy story. They'd like to hear a bankruptcy story, and I'd love to share that with you if you want. In 2005, Jimmy and I were almost entirely out of debt. We just had his federal student loan to pay off. That was all we had as far as debt was concerned. We had done a pay down your debt program with a lawyer. And we were living with my dad at the time. And my dad was retired, but was working as, basically he was fishing. And then he was working a little bit as, like boat crew on fishing boats. But mostly he was living off retirement savings and that type of stuff. He got hurt, and we had just taken the job at the apartment a couple of months before that at the group home, so we could have our own space. My little brother moved home, and space was very limited. So we did that, and then my dad got hurt. He never told anybody about it until it was too late. I found out after Easter that he had some severe leg issues. Just like my dad was very stoic when it comes to stuff like that. So from the 2006 when he got sick until 2010 when he passed away, and on a little bit, we were saddled with a lot of new debt. Medical bills, house payments, that kind of thing. Just, I had, Jim had a job. I had a job full time. Jim had a job full time, and my brother was still dying to decide what he wanted to do. And in 2008, when he got sick, basically he had stomach, intestinal issues and heart issues and had big bleeds and stuff. We moved back from the group home. My brother moved out of the house, and we had been settled with more bills. Saddled with, not settled with. Sorry, it's just that I had a lisp on my, the thing on my mouth is very swollen right now. As often it is after I eat. So, in 2010, my father passed away. We had over $35,000 in debt. Now, granted, I also made $42,000 a year. Jim made about 12. So the expenses were a lot more than that if we had also accumulated $35,000 in debt. But it is what it was, and I wouldn't change it for a minute. So we had a family meeting about what we were going to do with the house, and I figured we would have to move because I figured my family was going to start charging us rent that we couldn't afford. I know it sounds silly, but with my father's Social Security, it did make a difference. Could you imagine if we didn't have his Social Security, and I'd be even more debt? I'd never get my debt paid down if I had to pay rent, is what I'm trying to say. So, my family decided to let us stay there. We fixed up the downstairs apartment. It was a 2-family house, but we call it a house. It was apartments. We fixed the downstairs so that it could be rentable to somebody. Or we were in the midst of doing it when Superstorm Sandy hit. We had paid down our debt to about, I want to say like maybe $25,000, I think. Maybe even more. Maybe like 15. Maybe we had gotten 20,000. Because when you make $42,000 a year, you don't take home $42,000 a year. And the job I had at the apartment was in a faraway town, so gas was more expensive. The fact of like groceries and the internet, all that stuff was like, obviously cost more money. Sorry. So when the flood came, the hurricane came, and we had to move here. When the time we moved here, we had back up to about $20,000 worth of debt, because recovering from the hurricane, though we did get some money from FEMA, that really went into the house. Very little of it went to our belongings. So when we came here, we had to get the truck and move and the storage over there and all that stuff. We ended up, by the time we moved into this house, we had about almost $30,000 in debt. I'm not accumulated because I couldn't find a job that I would earn money at. I know it sounds stupid. I'll remind you again, if you've never heard the story before, that my first job I got was at the post office. I worked for the United States Postal Service. I was hired to be a city carrier at Fort Leonard Wood until the last day, because then they ended up giving that job to the Postmaster General's son. So I then got saddled with a job in Leesburg, which it was a lovely community, but I had to drive my own car, which was not a right-hand drive car, which put wear and tear on my car. That ended up costing me more money in car issues than it did that I earned the 2 months that I was there. Excuse me. And then I looked and I tried to find work, and finally I found a job at the with the Rolla PD as a emergency communications operator, and I said it's a 911 operator. I'm totally settled for that because I'm totally calm under a crisis. Problem was, it wasn't just a 911 operator, it was also communicating back and forth with the police and several different police departments, and there was a lot to learn, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like in New York City where it's just like straight up 911, put it in the computer and let someone else deal with the talking to the cops, you know. So there was a lot. And then my supervisor, when I said, I'm sorry, I don't think I could do this, she was like, to be honest with you, you kind of have to be a little bit of a psychotic to have multiple conversations that you can carry on in your head at the same time. So then right after that, she had suggested that her daughter works for like a group home like I used to do. And I went to go work for them. And I did make some money at the police department, so I was able to pay down some of my debt. And I went to go work at the group home place, and I worked there for a week because in a week I worked at 5 houses, which was a lot. They had you taught, and you never can learn anybody when you're at different houses all the time. And this is something that I'd done for 15 years, and the way that it was being done there was just boorish a little bit. And then to find out that you had to pay for your own training was enough. And then, I mean, that was a lot. And then to find out that you have to drive your own car, and they're only going to give you X number of pennies back for the rides. That was it. It was like, I can't work for a for-profit because it's not for my profit, it's for your profit, and I can't do that. These guys, and I love them because I love everybody, just on the back of their staff. It's just too much, you know. Anyhow, so that was February of 2016, and the next 4 months we tried to make minimums on payments and just got behind on everything, and got to the point where in June of 2016 we were taken to collections, and that was my first time ever being taken to collections. And then I found a bankruptcy lawyer that would work for less in, he actually worked from St. Louis, but worked closer to the house. You know, you get a lot of advertisements, and this guy seemed like he would do it relatively inexpensively, and he did. We had to borrow the money from Mom, which basically we paid back. Once my father's estate was settled in 2018, I finally got to pay my mother-in-law back for that, which, you know. And then we filed bankruptcy in June of 2016, and was kind of like the turning point of, I have to do something, but I don't think I could do something for anybody else. I think I have to try to work for myself. And I did try to do crafting and sell crafts, and I had a couple of people complain about the way that my crafts smelled, which was understandable and not their fault. So that kind of went the wayside, and then I ended up finding YouTube and saying, I think I can do this. And I came up with a business plan, sort of. It was like I could start this with $20 a week. And I asked my family if they would invest in it, $20 a week, and they said yes. And I was able to pay my mother-in-law back everything I owed her from the time that we filed bankruptcy until the time that my father's estate got settled. Pretty much everything was paid back then. So it's just a little over 2 years, just like 2 years and 2 months, 2 years and a month, which I was grateful. And it's a lot of things that I don't tell you guys, like about my father's estate being settled, and about like my family, my brothers and sisters' family. And I don't want to share that with you because that's their business too, and I choose not to. It is my life as well, but it is their life as well. So there's just lots of that I won't get into, so please try not to ask if you can. But when my father's estate got settled, then I was able to pay back my mother-in-law everything we owed her, get out of debt, set up a different way of paying bills around the house, and set up a house account so we could do everything out of there, so nobody had to rack up any more debt for the house type of thing. So what we did starting then was we each put in what we felt was a fair share of the bills. And when we went over everything and what everybody's wants and needs were, we realized that 50% was about right. Some of the things that my mother-in-law purchases are a little bit more expensive because they're name brands. And then, like, the fact that we have the TV service that we do is for her, because Jimmy and I don't even watch it, but we do have, like, the internet, and then the phone. Up until we split the bills, was we were paying the bulk of the phone bill, and she was just giving us the $20 a week kind of thing for her, a month, excuse me, for her portion of the phone bill. You're falling. I'm trying to fix you and I'm making it worse. Sorry. Anyway, so that's how we do it. We split it 50-50 between her and us. But there's a lot of benefits she gets to that as well. You know, the tax break from the mortgage, and the, like, getting to be able to buy the name brand things that she likes grocery wise, that type of thing. So we yeah, and like, we're paying off her phone and that kind of stuff, so there's a lot of benefits to it. And recently we did a refi on the house, and that made it even more balanced for those of you who are interested. So it's just a really great family, and it's a really good system, and that's pretty much our bankruptcy story. So here we are, 6 years and 1 month later, just about 1 month actually, that we are on our road back to financial recovery, which is pretty awesome. So hopefully we'll be there before I expire. No, I'm just kidding. Stop. I know, I'm just kidding. I said that for Jim because he just walked back in the room. But listen, I love you guys. And if nobody's told you that you're loved, you can always come by and hear how much I love you. And I hope this little story time answers any questions people have, but they'll probably bring up more questions. So again, if it's not about my family, ask away. I'm happy to help you and answer whatever you have, okay? I love you. Okay. I promise. Okay. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Finish my shake now. Bye.